Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. It is still Wednesday, February 9th, 2020, freaking 2. Sit down, relax. Maybe I'm talking to myself because I'm already getting hyped up. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. I almost don't know where to start. What do? Okay, I'll fall back onto the market just to get myself going. People, yet again, another rally across the board. The Dow Jones Industrial Average put on almost 1% today. S&P 500 about 1.5%. The Nasdaq 2%, over 2%. The Russell 2000 higher. Okay. The setup for the market has been incredible off of the recent low. People, look, I really want to help you. And I keep saying, if you allow me to do that, I will. While everyone was freaking out during the normal correction that we had in January, I was buying. My lions were buying, all right? And if were smart, you were buying too. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to let you in on a little secret since it's just you and me. Don't share this. Another opportunity is about to show itself with regard to this market. How do we know that? Let's talk about how we know that. As I just said, off the recent low after the January normal correction that I said was a normal correction from day one, I told you, we will not deviate from our strategy. We will continue to buy the dips here. There were no red flags. We had a yellow flag recently, but I told you, even during the yellow flag, we don't change a damn thing. We continue to fly through the flak. You understand? Okay, I think you do. So this market has had quite a run off of the recent low. Now, I don't pick tops and I don't pick bottoms. It's a loser's game, all right? Going to get lucky sometimes. Most of the time, you're not going to get so lucky. You're going to get hurt. But if you understand where opportunity is, and it's everywhere, well, it's just, let me explain this to you. When I see opportunity coming up, like I get all tingly all over my body. I really do. And it just kind of hits me like boom, kind of like that. Maybe it's a gift. I don't know what it is. But invariably, when I get this kind of a feeling, it's correct. Now, what I see happening is very straightforward. It's very simple. Let's see if this makes sense to you. Quite a run up from the recent low. I mean, all the panic, all the fear, all the people making bad decisions, dumping positions, staying out of the market. Again, how many times do I have to tell people don't get rattled? If you do, you're gonna make a bad decision. And in life, as with trading, we're all gonna make mistakes. All right. Now, with that said, we want to try to minimize those mistakes. Keeping them to a minimum is the key. We're going to make mistakes. All of us are. And if you do make a mistake, don't sweat it. Learn from it. What did I do wrong? Ask yourself. I do this all the time. Look, me, I make mistakes all the time. That's really the truth. And I'm not just talking about the stock market. I'm just talking about in living life. And I sit back and I say, all right, what did I do wrong? How can I make this not happen again? Well, I do my best to, pick myself up, get all brushed off, fix my tie, and then move forward. You can't dwell on things either. Again, going back to whether it's the market, personal life, whatever it might be, you're going to make errors. You're going to make mistakes. Some of them pretty bad. I guarantee you that you're going to make some really bad choices in your life. Trust me, I have. And I know more are coming. That's the truth. But learning from these things and moving forward is the key. So don't sweat these things out. You do something wrong, market or otherwise, just pick yourself up. Maintain a positive attitude because that's also a big key here. And you're going to be just freaking fine. Anyway, so if you did miss the recent low in the market, and I'm sure many of you did, not my Lions. No, I don't think so. I don't think any of them did. there's more opportunity every day, okay, in this market. It just never ends. So what I see coming, people, is, again, what a move we've had off the low. So that means that at one point we're going to get a pause and or a pullback, okay? A pause and or a pullback. And when this happens, what are we going to do? You see, you can do a couple things. Number one is you can sit tight. If you're like me and you're keeping some powder dry, if you have access to capital, and I'm not saying borrow it, you should be buying the dips again moving forward. I have no doubt at all that within a relatively short period of time, this market will hit new all-time highs. New records are coming. And again, look, the only people who don't get that are the ones that think the market is real. The market is not real. The market is a freak show. It's all being propped up by easy money. It's not going to stop. We heard from not one, but two Fed presidents today walking back an aggressive stance with regard to the Fed. Bostic and Mester, the freak, the creature of the Federal Reserve, Loretta Mester. She's like, I don't know, I think she's possessed. She probably is. None of these things are human anyway. But they're all walking back previous statements about how aggressive the Fed was going to be with regard to rate hikes moving forward because they really want to do something about inflation. Bullshit. They don't want to do a damn thing about inflation, and you all know that. They want to continue to inflate, I can promise you that. But with regard to anything else, they have no desire whatsoever to stop the current environment of inflation for getting a lot worse. In fact, they're betting on it. They're betting on it, and you should be betting on it as well. Is this a terrible thing for people? Absolutely. What is actually going on is a wipeout of an entire class of people. A new demographic is being created right before our eyes. It's the new economy. And in this new economy, we're going to have extreme haves, extreme have-nots, and that's the way it's going to go. It's already playing out in many, many ways. We heard something very interesting coming out of the Federal Reserve today. I sent this out in my newsletter about 20 minutes ago. I'll cover that right here as well. But let's stick with this market here. So people, look, I don't care. I really don't care where you're hearing someone tell you different. For years now, I have told you the market's going record high, record high, record high. And I've nailed it to the wall. Some pretty big names have gone against me and my Lions and have paid the price for that. And I don't want you to pay any price. I want you to benefit and capitalize on what I am saying here. It should be pretty evident to you that nothing seems to be getting in the way of this market. Rising bond yields, 10-year yields, strong dollar, bad economic news. All it does is propel the market higher. And that's the way it's going to go until it doesn't. And for people like myself, and I'm hoping this is you, if you are hedged, meaning you're long the market, more specifically, large cap dividend paying stocks, if you are so inclined, if you're one of my Lions, you're trading around those positions using credit spreads, selling puts onto the market, you couldn't possibly be sitting more pretty. At the same time, you're holding risk off assets. So you and I, by being both long the market or in risk on assets, equities, and in risk off as well, risk off being what? What are they to Greg Mannarino? Physical gold, physical silver, commodities in general, which include crude oil, okay, and cryptocurrencies. I know how many of you hate that stuff, okay? That's fine. You don't need to be in that space. It's not for everybody. I do believe you need to have some in your portfolio. That's my take on it. I've been saying this since Bitcoin 3,000. We're at 45,000 right now. I think I got that one right too. With regard to other cryptocurrencies, I own a bunch of them. I'm only underwater with regard to one, which is Dash, and that's a long-term hold for me. But anyway, look, there's opportunity, people. It's just a matter of you reaching out and grabbing it. Just reaching out and understanding without fear. You can't be afraid. All right. If you're afraid, then you need to be very, very far away from this investing, trading thing. Just stick to a regular job where you get a regular paycheck, and that's it. But understand, you're still invested. You're invested in dollars. And that's, in my view, that's a very weak spot to be. If you're out of the market completely, if you're not trading, invested in a company, if you're not stacking precious metals, if you're not holding cryptocurrencies or something along those lines, you're investing solely in one product. That is Federal Reserve notes. And if you haven't realized it yet, these Federal Reserve notes are clearly a dying asset. So however you want to look at it, you're in the market, okay? Whether you just like to listen to Greg Mannarino because you think he's silly, or you take advantage of what I'm saying, it doesn't matter. You're in it. And as a matter of fact, I mean, you're in it deep. If you are transacting in Federal Reserve notes, you're supporting the slave system, the debt-based system, the beast system, and you're invested. You're invested in one product, Federal Reserve notes. You want to be there? Good for you. I can promise you, you're in the wrong spot. And I am certain that you can tell that things are not going very well for you. So you got to do something about it. And you hold all the cards to your own future. You, no one else. Okay. Anyway, with that said, Bitcoin doing really well today. Cryptocurrencies in aggregate doing very well. Gold and silver catching a bid today. Crude oil, WTI under 90. There's going to be more opportunities there too, people. Look, we take advantage of everything. And I'm telling you right now that this market, I hate to say due, because nothing is due for anything. But when we get a pullback, because nothing goes up straight, got to jump all over this. This is going to be another opportunity for us because there are no red flags. Nobody out here, I don't care if you're the biggest fund manager who's ever walked the earth, can show me where there is a single red flag. Sure, we had a yellow flag with that bump up in the 10-year yield recently, but how's the market reacting? Rally, and more freaking rallies. Okay, the market is fine with it. You know, with regard to the 10-year yield, let's talk a little bit more. Okay, if I had to throw a number out here at you, I think the 10-year yield is going higher. I think we're going to settle with regard to the 10-year yield probably over 2%, and I don't think it's too far off. But we also need to take in, again, the entire environment. It's not so much where the 10-year yield is. It's how we get there. Me, when I saw that recent spike in the 10-year yield, my eyeballs were like, whoa. It was the speed. It was the pace. Okay, if we see, for example, the 10-year yield creep up here, especially with a dollar whose relative strength remains where it is or gets weaker, the market's going to love it. The market is going, let me show you what the market's going to do. Oh, that's what the market's going to do. It's going to just love it, and it's going to go much, much higher here. There is too much fear with regard to what the Fed is going to do. The Fed will not rock the boat. The Fed wants to keep things the way they are. That is a massive wealth transfer, grand theft on an unimaginable scale, sucking it straight out of whatever's left of the middle class, pushing it up to the 1%ers or the 2%ers. It's always the same story, but now we're really seeing the effect of it. We have never had such a humongous wealth gap, and that is also by design. You all know that. Look, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. How many times do I have to tell you that? But until we see, you and me, and we're smart enough to recognize it, a red flag. Okay, I warned you about a yellow flag, didn't turn red. I said we would know by the end of the week. Well, we still got a couple of days, and it looks to me like this thing ain't turning red. That does not mean the market isn't going to pull back. I think we need one. I think this market yet again needs to drop. Okay. And that would be an amazing opportunity for all of us to buy that dip as well. We're not going to deviate yet again. The game remains risk on. Okay, risk on. Cash moving into equities, and the Federal Reserve is buying the market. You know that. All right, people. Let's talk a little bit here. So I already explained to you that we got the Federal Reserve, and they've been doing this now for weeks, kind of walking back their aggressive stance on rate hikes moving forward. Henceforth, why the market's loving it, but the market wants action. This market wants action. Don't listen to Greg Mannarino. Listen to Goldman Sachs, okay, if you like Goldman Sachs better than Greg Mannarino. Because I've been saying before Goldman Sachs, the Wall Street super bank, said recently that if the Federal Reserve does not do something, the effect on the market is going to be very negative. Okay, I happen to know for a fact that there's more than one person over at Goldman that watches my work, and you know who you are. Anyway, we'll keep that a little secret. Let us again move forward here, people. Speaking about the Fed with regard to Loretta Mester, the demon of the Federal Reserve, she is expecting that Federal Reserve policy will remain accommodative. What does that mean to you? The Federal Reserve, I want to get this correct, expect Federal Reserve policy to remain accommodative. Duh. I think we all knew that before we had the freak open her pie hole. You ever see the teeth on that thing? It's pretty frightening. Anyway, I want to read something to you, and I think you're going to find this very interesting. So today we got a piece of information here. I'm going to pop this up real quick from the Federal Reserve. Look, it's no secret, yet again, that our policymakers, as well as Federal Reserve presidents, the vice chair, and the chairman himself, has been involved in insider trading. Now, this is a statement. Reuters, to their credit, tried to use the Freedom of Information Act to obtain information about trades made by policymakers and Federal Reserve presidents. Well, the Federal Reserve denied in full to release these documents, citing some kind of exemptions. Now, I don't think that surprises you at all. We are in an environment of corruption. And if you look back on history at every single great empire that has fallen, and we are in free fall, they fall for the same reason, corruption. And that's exactly what's going on. But if you think this is an accident, again, if we have our policymakers involved here in humongous trades involving inside information, as well as the Federal Reserve itself, their presidents, the vice chair, the chairman himself, you can see where we're all going, where this is going. There will be no arrests. I can promise you that. And they're going to deny to release information via the Freedom of Information Act or anything else, because you see, you're not allowed to know what's really going on. It's pathetic what's happening. People, tonight is special. Do you know why it's special? I'm going to be on the Bow Buddy show tonight at 7 p.m. live Pacific Standard Time. There is a link in the description of this video to the Bow Buddies. I sincerely hope to see you there because it's just possible, in fact, more than that I will be asked a very interesting question later. And I think you're going to want to hear the answer. All right, anyway, look, I hope to see you tonight. Like I said, this is a live show. You can chime in. It's so much fun. I love the Barrel Buddies. And let's show the Barrel Buddies a little lion love, all right? They only got like 2,500 subscribers. Let's double that tonight, okay? Is it so hard tonight when you're watching to just subscribe? I would greatly appreciate it. Look, I love helping people out. I want to help you. So why can't you and I pay it forward? Let's do this for the Barrel Buddies. I hope to see you there tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't think you want to miss the show. With that said, people, please share the video. I will see all of you in the morning, and it's just going to be, well, a freak show.